Hey there, YouTube family. Dr. K here. Welcome to Winning in Education. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, thanks for tuning back in. So on this channel, we talk all things winning. So whatever winning means to you. You could be new to the teaching profession and you're trying to figure out, should you even pursue teaching? Is it a viable career? You're in teaching, you're trying to figure out how to go from the classroom, or how to get out of the classroom and go into teacher leadership, or perhaps even become a principal. Or winning in your definition could mean I'm leaving the profession altogether, and that's how I'm going to win. So today I'm continuing my series on the phenomenon of teachers leaving the profession. You know, I'm still starstruck with that, a little saddened. We have so many young, bright, dynamic teachers leaving the profession, and I am just curious as to why. So we do know teacher pay and some of the other problems I've highlighted on this channel. We know those. But today I'm talking about teacher pay with an encouraging twist. Encouraging in quotation marks, because I'm not quite sure I'm 100% sold. So I came across several articles about teacher pay of some sort. Now, I don't know if the universe is starting to send me these articles because I'm seeking this stuff out, but I was just amazed. 4 articles within the last couple of weeks around teacher pay. And of course, I'm going to link the articles below because I think you should read the articles in their entirety. I was, again, fascinated. But it was very interesting to see so much about teacher pay in the news. So again, I am encouraged, but I am cautiously encouraged. I'm cautiously optimistic. Now, the first 2 articles are from Education Week. Article number 1 is, should teachers be paid a minimum salary of $60,000? Yeah. Number 2 from Education Week was the current state of teacher pay in charts. So they gave you a lot of graphs and comparisons. That was pretty neat to look at. They gave me, and I couldn't find a way to link this, but once you go to the article, you'll see it. They have a graph of the 5 highest states or average salary of teachers for in the 5 states here. So Massachusetts, which we talked about before several times, average is the highest. So it's Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New York, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut. Those are the 5 states that pay their teachers the highest average salary. And then on the flip side of that, they gave you the 5 states that pay teachers the lowest average salary, one of which Mississippi, because I've been harping on Mississippi, but Arkansas, Virginia, I was shocked about Virginia, I taught in Virginia, Mississippi, Florida, and Arizona. So I also taught in Florida, and I was like, yeah, I get that. Arizona, for some reason, I just didn't know. So those are the 5 states that pay teachers the lowest. So go to the article so you can look at that, because I was reading that and thinking, oh, okay, that makes sense. The number 3 article that I was reading about this teacher pay comes from Forbes online, the impact of inflation on the teacher shortage and how online education may help. That was an interesting read. And then my last one was from Mother Jones. I'm not sure if this is a blog or what, but the article has gotten a lot of traction. And it's called, We All Know Teachers Are Underpaid, but Who Imagined It Was This Bad? Hello? I imagined. I'm like sounding the alarm. I'm one of the people, I'm sure, sounding the alarm, not the only one. So as we continue to examine this notion of teacher pay, and we know teacher pay is probably the number 1 reason that we have so many teachers leaving the profession, teacher pay and other things, but teacher pay is up there. So I'm always interested in these types of articles. So we know teacher pay sucks. But from the articles I read, here are some important things that we kind of knew. I think I've talked about them on some of the other videos. Here are things we know. Teacher pay widely varies depending upon the state you live in. So New York, again, they earn on average the highest salary, and then Mississippi and now Arizona is at the bottom on average, right? My last video, which we talked about Alaska, they pay pretty well. So that's a good state to continue to look at when you're thinking about states, that you might want to settle down as a teacher, particularly if you're young and mobile. Go to that list and look at the 5 top paying states on average. Those would be the areas I would target. Now, keep in mind, some of those areas are in very expensive cost of living regions, but you got to weigh the pros and cons. So we already knew that teacher pay varied depending upon your location. We also already knew, contrary to popular belief, teachers do not work a cushy 8 to 3 gig. We just, this is society's belief. This is the layman's person's belief that we got this cushy job and we come in at 8, we roll out at 3, we're off in the summer. We're like, if you're a female, you paint your toes and nails. Yeah, we know it's not like that. So teachers work on average, and once you read through the articles, they talked about this. We don't do a 40-hour work week. We are working on average as teachers 52 plus hours, and only half of that, so 25 hours or plus or minus an hour here and there, is only spent on teaching. All this other extra time that teachers are giving to their job is the extra stuff that teachers are complaining about. All of this planning, all of this preparing, the outside meetings and committees and all of the other stuff that makes teachers a bit disgruntled. They brought that to the attention in these articles as well, so I thought that was pretty good. And the last thing I think we already know, or at least we talked about, excuse me, on this channel, is that we've heard this term called wage penalty. And what that is teachers make less money on the dollar than their peers in comparable fields. And that is, with the same education. So she has a bachelor's, I have a bachelor, she's working in corporate America and she's making significantly more than me. Or teacher has a master's, her friend has only a bachelor's and is still making more. So this idea of wage penalty, we kind of talked about it in a couple of videos, but we knew that, right? So yes, we know teacher pay sucks. It's low, but I am encouraged to see so many articles recently in the news. So what really caught my eye is the article talking about this new proposed bill called the American Teacher Act. And it hasn't passed yet, so we're not celebrating, but it's a proposed bill in which states and school districts could be incentivized to increase their K-12 teacher salary to $60,000. I mean, we're talking just $60,000. So this act, if it passes, would provide additional monies to states and districts, school districts, probably Title I districts, of course, to bring up that teacher salary to the bare minimum of $60,000 and have money to provide yearly adjustments for inflation. This inflation thing is a real deal because we know, going to the grocery store now, everything is more expensive. Eggs, chicken. I was just talking to a friend and I'm talking about, my gosh, chicken is so expensive. I could not imagine having to grocery shop on my teacher's salary. So adjusting this salary beyond the inflation or with the inflation increases is a good thing. So that's one thing this bill is. I think it's noteworthy here, though, that this bill, or this proposed bill, because it's not passed as of yet, it didn't come about because Congress all of a sudden realized the importance of teachers and they felt like, teachers are underpaid and, the backbone of the community. No, none of that. It came about because of this ongoing teacher shortage across the nation. We have so many teachers who are not working. So many schools who are not fully staffed. So in one of the articles, they talked about there's no official count. So there's no official tracking of teacher shortages. Each district, each state is doing their own. But in the Forbes article, they talked about estimating around 36,500 teacher vacancies at the beginning of the school year. Can you imagine how many classrooms were empty of a qualified teacher? Now, some of the things they also talked about in the article is putting substitutes in there, long-term subs or sometimes daily subs coming in and out for an entire school year, or some classes just going without teachers. So this is one of the reasons this proposed bill came about, because they're looking at teacher shortages. Now, some things that we think, and I think we've talked about here, but I'm sure you're hearing, that is contributing to this teacher exodus. So, well, number one is this idea or this notion of the Great Resignation movement. It didn't just happen in corporate America. Teachers were quitting as well. So there was a massive exodus. About 2.6 million educators and staff members quit K-12 and even higher education institutions during the pandemic, and they didn't go back. So if you were following along with me, because this is something that had me glued to my TV, when they were trying to demand that teachers had to come back in the classroom and COVID was nowhere even slightly under control like it is now, people were still dying daily. They were still tracking the deaths on CNN, and then you're saying you're requiring teachers to come back in the classroom. We had a lot of teachers quit. Now, valid, some of those teachers were near retirement, but a teacher leaving a school is a teacher leaving a school. So this teacher shortage has been across the nation. Another thing that I think is contributing to so many teachers quitting, or even thinking about quitting beyond all of the stuff we talked about, is this quiet quitting phenomenon. You see so many articles about how to quiet quit. Specifically, the articles I read initially were talking more corporate America. Some of the more recent articles are written by teachers who are quiet quitting in their classrooms. Now, the idea of quiet quitting to me has such a negative connotation in education. What these the teachers in these articles are saying is they're just not doing 15,000 jobs. I'm just going to do my job, and when the bell rings and it's time for me to go home to be mommy or daddy, I'm going to be mommy or daddy. Or I'm just going to go home and go take a bath. That's what I want to do. So that's not anything to me that's negative. Teachers should not have to have 15,000 jobs on their to-do list. So I'm okay with the quiet quitting phenomenon. But the other thing I think that is contributing to this teacher exodus, and this is new. I've been seeing this on LinkedIn. I didn't really know it was a thing, but one of the articles talked about this hashtag of teacher transition. And it's been gaining traction, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. So people who are using this hashtag, or teachers, they are accounting their stories of why and how they are transitioning out of the profession. So, some things are catching on. If you're a young teacher, you're in your mid years of teaching, and you can go left and do a new career, or you can stay, and you come across a lot of these articles and stories from fellow teachers talking about why they're leaving and how they're doing it, this could give some teachers an idea. Sometimes you just need to see other people doing something that you want to do, and then you're gone. So I don't really have issues with teachers who decide they have to leave. You have to worry about your quality of life. However, I would love for teachers to stay. So I'm so happy that I came across all of these articles. I'm going to be looking for more. So if you come across articles talking about anything they're trying to do to help teachers stay in the classroom, whether it's pay, whether it's fixing some of the problems that we talk about on this channel, please don't hesitate to send it my way. So I'm cautiously optimistic that anything positive will come out of this with regards to teacher pay. Particularly soon enough to make an impact, right? Because people are leaving, teachers are leaving, dropping like flies. But this is light at the end of the tunnel somewhat. Someone somewhere in the powers that be is taking notice of the teaching profession, particularly around teacher pay, and they're thinking about it. They're talking about it. So I'm cautiously optimistic. So cause to doubt, I'm not sure. Cause to cheer, I'm not sure. What do you think? Are you cheering because of this information? If you're a teacher, are you saying, wow, this is great? Are we cheering, or are we in doubt? Are you cautiously optimistic like I am? Okay, that's it. I'm not going to rant anymore. You know, I can go on and on. So what did I miss? What do you think? Should we be cheering? Should we be encouraged, or not? So leave your reactions in the comments. I've been getting great comments. Thank you guys. I really love responding to your comments and hearing your thoughts, whether they differ from mine or not. That's all good. Leave your respectful comments and it's all good. So let me know what you feel. Are you optimistic, or are you still cautiously doubting like I am? And we'll take it from there. We will talk more in the comments. Don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys.